Hi, this is the video about the Kariwa makeover in the Rio Dulce, and basically a video about what it cost for all the work that we had done and our experiences down there. I mean, overall I think it was a pretty positive experience. What do you think, Liz?
The Rio Dulce is a nice place. It's you can get everything you need. The grocery store has a large selection, so you're not going to starve. And well, the boat work, we obviously went there for the boat work, and we were very happy with the work that we had done.
But I mean, we had an experience, right? We did stuff.
Oh yes, we did some touristy things. We went to hot water falls, Agua Caliente. We went to Tikal for a weekend, stayed in the little Isla de Flores, very nice place. So we did tourist around a bit, and it was an experience. Very interesting, different, and I think we had a good time.
I mean, you can see from the other videos about our experience getting there, and there's a pretty lively social life, and you can be pretty occupied every day if you really want to be.
The cruises are pretty active. There's people that organize Margarita Mondays, so the restaurants come on board. They have it at a different restaurant each week, and you have margaritas on special, food on special. Then on a Friday evening, one of the marinas has a big fire where you can go and have barbecues, and all the cruisers get together. Sunday afternoon, you can go to one of the hotels that has a really nice pool and bar area. So yes, you can get totally caught up in the cruiser life, and you have to kind of always remind yourself what you're there for.
So what were we there for? So we went down. I mean, we first heard about it from some cruisers in the Bahamas about the idea, and I was a little skeptical at first because of the boat and the draft and all of those kind of things. But we took the plunge. It was an experience whether we went down and ended up not being able to do anything or not. Principally, we went down and we had the following items done, and we'll go through them afterwards. But we had the hull repainted, we had the top sides of the boat repainted, we had the non-skid done again, we had some fiberglass work done on some new steps and some other areas where the wood had rotted. We had a whole bunch of canvas done, which we'll get into details. We had some sunshades made at the back and on the aft upper deck, and something which wasn't in the plan was some headliners. And we had all 4 cabins in the salon. All those headliners were done. We had some woodwork done, including a new table. And then, of course, we took into account the accommodation and fuel. I'll say right up front, lots of people asked us about the cost compared to the cost of the fuel. You'll find that it doesn't even factor really into the equation. The other thing I'll say is, if you want the job done properly, you probably should be project managing it yourself. We chose to go into a marina. We chose to go to be hauled and go to a proper operating boat yard. There are different levels of service down there, but this was our choice. Let me talk about that first. All the numbers I quote they were quotes, they were not estimates. What we were quoted is what we paid, and the numbers include all materials, all labor, haulage, electricity, water, everything. This was the total number, and it was a fixed price job. Yeah?
Yes. So there was no coming afterwards and saying, oh, we forgot this, the price of paint's gone up. What they quoted us was what we paid.
Yeah. And
that makes a big difference, I think.
So I'll talk about the hull first. 2 other Nordhavns we know of have had an estimate in the US or have paid between $120,000 and $160,000 for the hull and topsides to be painted. In this case, this is a variable between a Nordhavn 40 on the west coast and a Nordhavn 62 on the east coast. Our price, including paint, labor, materials, down in the haul out in the Rio Dulce, the hull was $15,000 including paint. The top sides were $20,000. That includes the off-white and the non-skid. The fiberglass work was $2,000 for a total cost of $37,000. And that includes haul out, use of the paint shed, all of the work. So on that alone, we saved anywhere from $100,000 to $130,000, which more than accounted for any fuel. And we were very happy with the work.
The workers were very diligent. They work meticulously. The guy who kind of in charge of the painting team, he's kind of strict on them, and he makes sure that, you know, all the taping is done absolutely precisely. He was very particular and made very sure that there were no mistakes and no mess ups, no foul ups, essentially. So we thought the quality was excellent, very good.
And they retaped between primer and top coat, and they retaped again when they did the filler. What do you call it? My brain is gone. But yeah, I mean, it was excellent. They're moving on. The canvas. Why don't you put your glasses on so you can read it? But
okay, so we had 15 hatch covers. We had a new bimini outside on the aft upper deck. We got chaps for the dinghy. We had a new cover for the dinghy. We had a new cover for the spotlight. We had a cover for the davit made. I think that was it.
Yeah, that's why you need your glasses. We had 2 new vinyl wing controls made and a new barbecue cover as well.
Oh yes.
So 15 hatch covers. Vinyl, by the way, we chose a vinyl blue for the aft dinghy, the aft bimini cover, which was a big job and done very, very well. And the total cost for that, I've got to get her to put them on one way or the other.
$6,000. $6,000.
Which we thought was amazing. My guess is that would be upwards of 24,000 in the US. And even without the savings, we're very pleased with the work. We're very pleased with how they did it, and the speed with which they did it.
Yeah, the installation was great. The quality is very good. So yeah, we're very happy. As Frank mentioned, we had a vinyl bimini put on the back. Previously we had canvas, and it was very old. I think it was like, 20 years old. So now, even when it's raining, we can use the deck at the back because it's waterproof. So that for us was a big win.
The other thing we added at the back was some sunshades. So on the aft upper deck we added 5 panels of sunshade mesh in white, which can be zipped together, and you can use all or any of them to block out the sun. And the total cost of that was $3,000. I've said before, I think that's Leslie's favorite thing.
Absolutely, because I've kind of noticed that in the afternoon when you're on the aft upper deck, it's always sunset and we happen to be facing west, so it was uncomfortable. Now that we've got the shades, it's perfect. We can sit up there from early evening through sunset until it's dark, and we really enjoy it. It's been one of the better things. Well, they're all good, but yeah,
the boat faces east, so therefore the aft deck is facing west, but yeah, that always seems to be the case.
Yes.
Another thing we had done was the salon curtains. We wanted to make it a little less formal and a little more sort of nautical. So we had 3 curtains of different sizes in the salon, plus a new headboard for the master cabin bunk. Those 3 curtains and the headboard came to $1,000, which was really very cheap.
Yeah, and it's definitely changed the whole character of the interior from being like pretty formal to being nautical, and it's, you know, much more appropriate, we think.
Yeah.
And we love it. It looks very nice. We're very
Yeah.
happy with the work.
We're very happy. I mean, it's not electrical and white and slidey. It's more, it's less formal and more in keeping with our lifestyle at the current time. So that was additional work done there. And then we something which wasn't on the plan, but I was disappointed with the fact that we had drooping headliners.
Disappointed.
So we had 65 headliners replaced in the 4 cabins, the salon, the galley, and the alleyway to the cabins.
Yeah, every time Frank looked up and saw droopy headliners, he would grumble about it. And so, having watched one of our videos, the guy who did the canvas work came in and proclaimed himself to be somewhat of a headliner expert, and thankfully convinced Frank to get the headliners done. It was a huge job. So many boards that had to be taken out, scrubbed down, the foam removed, glue removed. But they did a really good job in a reasonably short period of time, and when they put them all up, we just sat back and thought, this is amazing. So
yeah, we're very happy with the work. I mean, you can see back on the videos about the way the work was done. I know of 2 other Nordhavns who've recently been in discussion. One of them did their own, and another one on YouTube who is busy experimenting with different fixes. But for us to have 65 headliners replaced for $5,200, I consider that a bargain, and I wouldn't do it at that price. I've got better things and other things I need to be doing, and I reckon it would cost $18,000 plus in the US to do all of that work. I might be wrong. Somebody might be able to do it for cheaper, and maybe somebody would do it all themselves. But they did an excellent job. They used top quality material, and we are very, very happy with the work. I mean, when you consider that $5,200 includes removing all those headliners, cleaning them all, replacing the foam, replacing the covers, stapling it all in place, coming back and putting it all on board in 100% quality job. And we're very pleased. We're very pleased with the headliners. And yes, I was grumbling, and now I'm happy. We had some woodwork done, some varnish work done, and we also had a small table for outside built. I mean, that was $1,700 again. Quick work done, vastly improved a lot of areas. Very happy with that as well. So our boat was on the hard for 2.5 months, something like that, approaching nearly 3 months actually, on the hard. And we had to find somewhere to live. We were fortunate that the very first place we looked at, which we heard about from some other cruisers, was a place called Punta Bonita. And we found a 1-bedroom cabin with air conditioning, with a fridge, with a small kitchenette. You know, it wasn't, it was rustic, but it was in keeping with the area. We were in the jungle. We had our share of bugs once in a while, but we had a dock where we could park our dinghy, and to be honest, it was an experience. I got a little tired of it after 3 months, but for $700 a month, including electricity and water and gas, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was perfectly adequate for us. It was a nice place to stay. It was a little, like Frank said, it was a cabin on stilts, so that was novel for us. It was very comfortable.
It got a bit tiring after a while.
Yeah, because it's a wood cabin, it's dark inside, so we've always had the lights on. But, you know.
Yeah, it was dark, and they put like 4-watt bulbs in there, so we had to go to the supermarket and get adequate electricity. And I found myself using the boat's work lights to provide more light. But $2,100 for 3 months full accommodation, it was excellent. And we would have had to have been in accommodation in Florida had we had this work done in Florida. So that would have been incredibly a lot more expensive than $700 a month, which was what we were paying down in the Rio. The cost of fuel to go down to Rio Dulce, obviously in West Palm, or if we had the work done here in Florida, we wouldn't be paying for fuel. But this was also an experience for us to go up the Rio Dulce. It was also an experience for us to do a journey like that. But I worked out that we used 800 gallons at $4.80 a gallon, $4.89 a gallon, and that's $3,900. For me, it doesn't matter how you look at this. This was an experience, and the fuel doesn't really factor. But nevertheless, the savings more than made up for the cost of the fuel.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just part of cruising. So we went on a cruise, had some work done, and went on another cruise on the way back.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of thinking about it, actually.
Yeah.
You can include it or not. But if you then look at the comparisons of where we are, with the total costs, with all labor, materials, and parts included, for the Rio Dulce work, with accommodation and fuel, it was $59,962. Without the fuel and accommodation, just the boat work, it was about $53,950. In the US, I estimate that we would be at least $150 for the hull and topsides, for all work and labor, plus the rest. We're looking at over $212,000. So I think it was worth it. I think it was fantastic, and I'm very pleased with the result.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we went. We had a great time while we were there. We had a great adventure getting there. We had a great adventure getting back, and so for me, well worthwhile.
Getting back, we had an adventure. I must say, we're recording this now in West Palm, and it's 50 degrees outside Fahrenheit.
40.
And no, it's maybe 45, but it's a bit cold. Zarpe, our friends on another 62, are tied up alongside. It's nice to be out here, but it's a bit of a wind chill. Maybe we hurried back, but anyway. Let me say, the savings were substantial. The quality of work was very good. All the materials were imported from the US. The experience of living there, exploring Guatemala, as well as the journey, and also stopping in Honduras on the way back, was all worth it. But you do need to project manage the work. But in my opinion, you should be doing that anyway. What do you think about the hull, the color?
Oh. We chose a color, and they came back and said in Miami they couldn't mix the paint because there was a shortage of, I don't know, black paint or something. So we had to choose an alternative, and we looked at the color chart and chose a color. And when they started spraying it onto the hull, I don't know, my eyes just shut up. I thought, oh, this is so bright. But and everything was blue afterwards. All Frank's t-shirts are blue, my shoes are blue, everything was blue for weeks. But I think it looks beautiful. It matches the canvas, it matches the bimini, and people come over to us in anchorages to tell us how lovely it looks. So that just adds to it. It looks beautiful. We love it.
We do have one rather well-known gentleman inside the Nordhavn fraternity who has expressed some reservations. I'm not sure whether he feels that way or if he's just teasing us. Anyway, he shall remain nameless. He knows who he is. And I don't even know if he'll see this video. But let's say we're happy with the color. It's a different variation to the color on Wanderlost, which is a flag blue, I believe, and a different color to the blue on Zape. So we're just part of the blue 62s.
Yeah, we like it.
And we like it.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this comparison. And we're happy to take any questions about visiting the Rio Dulce, getting over the bar there. We'll put up another video about our journeys coming back, and how we went from the Rio Dulce over to the Bay Islands of Honduras, and then our journey back up to the Keys, and then up here to West Palm for Christmas.
That's it.
That's it.